What's up, guys? So this is going to be our third presentation as part of this multi-part series. Right now, we're going to be looking at the Excel spreadsheets. This first one is going to be the Fight Camp weight loss calculator. So this is going to be the one that's a little bit more general in nature. So on this first tab, it's going to be just a little introduction. This is going to go over some of the points that I talked about in the first two presentations. So if you haven't seen those two, definitely go and watch them. But if you don't want to go watch them, you can get a good gist of what was in there in these few little boxes. I'm not going to go through those. I'll get you these spreadsheets so you can look at them yourself. So that's just an introduction. Next tab, we're going to start here. So basically, each tab is going to have little instructions in the top left corner. So right here, it just says you're going to enter the required information. So basically, how much you weigh. I said weigh 190. My bout weight is going to be 171 pounds, or 170 with a 1 pound allowance. And I'm going to have 8 weeks until my fight. So I got an 8-week fight camp. So with that being determined, it's going to do this calculation. It's going to determine that if I'm going to cut 4% that final week, I need to be at that targeted weight of 177.8 1 week out, which means I need to lose about 1.7 pounds per week, or about 0.9% of my body weight per week. And then you can see the same thing for 6%, 8%. Obviously, the more weight I'm cutting the final week, the less weight I need to lose in the fight camp. And then we look over here, weight loss of body weight per week. Ideally, the best case scenario, we are less than 0.5%, because that's going to mean that we're not in a very large calorie deficit. Good is going to be 0.5 to 1%. And then we want to try at all costs to not go over 1% of body weight per week. If we do, that means that we might be cutting to a weight class that's a little bit too low for us, or we might have, like I talked about in the first presentation, we might have gotten a little too fat outside of camp. All right, so this is the first one starting here. So we input our information. Now we're going to go to the second one, which is our calories. So here we're going to input a little bit more information. So again, my weight, I'm 190 pounds. I'm 6'2", so I put in 74 inches. And then I'm 27 years old. This is going to calculate your estimated maintenance calories for a heavy training day, a medium training day, a light training day, and a rest day. Look over here, and there's also a section for women. So this is going to be for everyone, whether you're a man or a woman. You enter your information here, but then to get your specific calories, women are going to enter their information here. So let's say 155-pound woman, she's 5'7", so 67 inches, and she's 31. It's going to be her calories for that day. And down here is the high, medium, and light training days. These are going to be little specifications of what those training days may look like. 2 or more intense training sessions. A medium day is going to be 1. You can read through those if you want, but yeah, there's going to be a little categorization so you can determine which day is what. All right, so we have our information set in. So let's recap. So we have our information set here. It determines how much weight we need to lose depending on our fight cut. Then over here we have our maintenance calories that we need. And then in our diet plan, it's going to tell us what we need to eat to lose that respective amount. So to lose 1.7 pounds per week, I need to be in an 869 calorie deficit per day. So what that's going to do is that's going to subtract from my maintenance calories, and these are going to be my my calorie totals for each day that I need to hit this 1.7 pound weight loss per week. And if you look, we have our men's side, our women's side, 4%, 6%, 8%. So you're going to have to do a little bit of digging in terms of making sure you're looking at the correct numbers. But this will give you a pretty good idea of what you need to eat day to day, depending on what type of training day it is, whether it's a very hard day, a medium day, a light day, or a non-training day, a rest day. And then you can go from there. So next we're going to look at macros. So this is going to take the calories that we need to eat each day, and it's going to give you specific carb amounts, it's going to give you specific macronutrient amounts that you need to eat to hit those calorie amounts. So as you look, I have 1 gram. So we're just going to look at the men's side right now. So I have 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein. So 190 in this situation. I put that I was 190 pounds. So it's going to give me 190 grams of protein. And then fats, as you can see, on training days, so this high training day, fats are going to be lower. On rest days, fats are going to be higher. Same thing, high training days, carbs are going to be higher. Low training days, carbs are going to be lower because we don't need as much energy coming in to fuel those training sessions. So again, just as you did in the diet plan, go in and find men, women's side. You can find how much final weight cut percentage you're going to do, and then you can get your specific calorie amounts. Same thing here. You can find your men, women's side, find your final weight cut percentage, find your training day, and find how many grams of protein, carbs, and fats you're going to need for that day. These are just guidelines. These are not hard and fast rules. Feel free to adjust to your personal preference and go from there. The most important thing are these numbers right here, making sure that you hit these calorie amounts. If you hit those, regardless of what you do over here, this does not matter in terms of just simply losing the weight, but I would say it is very important to make sure that you are getting adequate carbs to fuel the training that you're doing. All right, so next we're going to look at 4 meals a day, 5 meals a day, and 6 meals a day. So for 4 meals a day, again, you're going to do some searching. So let's say in this scenario, I'm a man, I'm trying to do a 6% final weight cut, and I have a very hard training day. So I found my calories, my protein, my carbs, my fats. So I'm going to go to my 4 meals a day. I'm going to scroll down to my 6% final weight cut, my hard training day. These are how many grams of protein I should have each meal, how many grams of carbs I have each meal, and how many grams of fats. As you can see, I have this listed as meal 1, meal 2, pre-training meal, and post-training meal. That's going to be the same whether it's a 4-meal plan, a 5-meal plan, or a 6-meal plan. So over here, so I got meal 1, 2, 3, pre, post. So we're going back to here. We have our hard training day with a 6% cut. As you can see, protein is going to be spread evenly across the day, across all 4 meals, but carbs are going to be higher in the pre-training meal as well as the post-training meal. And then fats are going to be lower in the pre-training meal and post-training meal than they would in the meals away from training. So let's go look at the 5 meals per day. So 6% final cut on a hard training day. So same thing, protein is going to be spread evenly across the day. Carbs are going to increase as they get closer to the training session, with a even higher proportion of carbs coming post-training to help restore those glycogen stores. And then fats are going to be lower around training and higher away from training. Same thing, cut and repeat from 6 meals. So for this 6% final weight cut, hard training day, in this situation for the hard training days for 6 meals, I assume that it's going to be a 2 training session day, because if you are eating 6 meals a day and it's a hard training day, more than likely you're training twice a day, because if you weren't training twice a day, you're probably going to be eating 4 to 5 meals. So I just took the liberty to assume that you're eating 6 meals, you're having 2 hard training sessions on this day. So I have meal 1, meal 2, pre-most important training meal, and then pre-second training meal. So our most important training session is ideally going to be done first in the day, because obviously that's the most important training of the day. We want to make sure that we are coming into it as recovered as possible from the previous sessions. But as you can see, the macronutrient amounts are going to be pretty much, near the exact same. Higher carbs near training, with even higher carbs post-training, and then higher fats away from training. All right, so this next tab is going to be foods. So over here, again, on each tab, there's going to be some instructions. So it just goes through some of the stuff we talked about in the first 2 presentations in terms of how to eat to maximize your training effectiveness, having more carbs around training, less carbs away from training, more fats away from training, things of that nature, eating foods of higher glycemic indexes around training, carbs with lower glycemic indexes away from training. And as you can see right here, I have simple carbs, which is going to be those with a high glycemic index. This is what you want to use after training. Complex carbs, those are going to be stuff that you want to use before training or in meals away from training. And then, I have also protein sources. I got some carb sources, and then fat sources over here. Again, you do not have to use these foods or these ingredients. These are just to help you kind of get an idea if you need any help. All right, so this was the Fight Camp weight loss calculator. This is going to be someone who doesn't need as much guidance. Next